Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Solar Quarter and the First View Group, I'm Ella, and it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to today's insightful webinar on accelerating inverter adoption for reliable and sustainable energy in Bangladesh. We're truly delighted to have you with us for what promises to be a high impact, forward looking discussion. Today's session brings together distinguished voices from the renewable energy and sustainability ecosystem, a unique convergence aimed at shaping a greener, more resilient energy future for Bangladesh. Before we begin, allow me to give you a brief overview of what you can expect during this engaging session. Bangladesh's industrial sector, including textiles, RMG, pharmaceuticals, and FMCG, is experiencing rapid growth. With increasing energy demands and an urgent need for operational efficiency, solar energy has emerged as a strategic, sustainable solution. Yet, challenges around system reliability, long term maintenance, and energy management remain critical. So, today's webinar, we will delve into practical strategies to address these challenges, covering aspects like solar for industrial applications, unlocking on grid potential, market trends, and overcoming implementation hurdles. We'll be discussing long term reliability in CNI solar, what truly matters to leading IPPs, powering sustainability in RMG, reducing costs and carbon impact with solar integration, driving project success, the vital role of regional sales and service partners. We would also be discussing how to achieve compliance with zero export systems, how technology and training make the difference, and customer insights, where you will gain real world applications and technology driven solutions, including SMA. So, before diving into the main discussions, I'd like to take a moment to introduce SMA Solar Technology. As a global leader in photovoltaic system technology, SMA is redefining the future of decentralized digital and renewable energy. With over 3,600 employees across 20 countries, SMA is committed to empowering people and businesses worldwide to achieve greater energy independence. Their innovative solar solutions support the transition to a self sufficient renewable energy future. Let's now take a look at SMA's journey and vision.
Humanity is standing on the verge of its biggest challenge, securing a livable future for our planet and our children. We are facing changing climate, rising energy demand, and a growing global population in an unprecedented magnitude and speed. A fundamental change in the way we produce, distribute, and consume energy is needed more than ever. This is why today, the transition towards a renewable energy system is our single most important task. SMA Solar Technology has been pioneering solar solutions for more than 40 years. As a global leader in solar and storage system technology, SMA combines broad experience with cutting-edge expertise to seamlessly integrate solar energy into the grid. Our innovative solutions ensure that solar-generated power not only meets today's energy demands, but also stabilizes the entire system, paving the way for a reliable and sustainable energy future. In a world increasingly reliant on renewable energy, SMA's role is significant. Located in the heart of Europe is our state-of-the-art production facilities that reflect our dedication to innovation and excellence. From our advanced electronics manufacturing to the new gigawatt factory, we are continuously evolving to meet the growing demands of a renewable future. At SMA, we are not just imagining the future of energy, we are building it. Join us as we empower the future of energy, creating a brighter tomorrow for generations to come. SMA, energy that changes.
Thank you, team, for that enlightening video. Let's now move to the industry perspective. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Tanmay Samant, Manager Southeast Asia for SMA Solar Technology, for a special presentation on how SMA is enabling reliable and sustainable solar solutions across the region. Over to you, Mr. Samant.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, hello, good afternoon, everyone. I think my screen is very much visible. Uh, so,
Sir, it's
I'll,
visible. Yeah, it's in the screen
yes,
share mode.
okay.
Yes, yes, it's
Yeah,
working.
now it's fine, right? I will just.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ella, for a short introduction, and thank you SQ team for giving this video presentation as well to the audience. So hello everyone, my name is Tanmay Saman. I'm a sales and business development manager for Southeast Asia and South Asia region, and I'm more focus is on Bangladesh because of very much promising market on the renewable segment in the whole South Asia region. So I'll be running you through a short presentation of who we are, what we have done, and why SMA. So basically, SMA is a German entity, German company. We are present in the renewable energy sector for 40 years now, and we strongly believe that energy is a very crucial, for every for businesses, for residential, or even for grid stabilization. So we take an honor to be a part of this energy segment for last 40 years, and we have seen the changes overall. Now we come with a very much mission driven purpose, and our purpose is to inspire the world's most important customers what we believe is our future. Hence we are always future ready. We have our various range of solar inverters, and we are one of the initial companies who actually, or a pioneer companies who actually entered into a renewable energy segment. And we are one of the companies who are only focused on the solar inverter segment. So we always believe that future to we to make 100% renewable energy in future, you have to come up with the various innovative solutions, with a strong R&D backing to SMA. We always believe in that. So what promise we take to the customer is always, these are the four pillars we always talk about. So we are always customer centric. Being a customer centric is one of our key agendas, and when you are customer centric, we also takes provide holistic solutions to end solutions. When these two things are there, you have to always be a future ready, because every time the requirement or demand of energy is changing, the technology is changing. So we are always a future ready company, and being balancing all these things, we make sure that we are not compromising on our quality, and hence we are one of the most reliable companies in the world at the moment. And because of that, we believe in a long service life and a long strong service network across the globe. Being a future ready, obviously we are now, like I will cover that in my upcoming slides, but we are also now preparing ourselves for hydrogen fuel cells or for electric vehicle chargers. So that's how we define ourselves in this changing world, and we make sure that we keep our promise with our customers. Now, about our success story or about SMA, we are a 40 years old, as I mentioned, old company, and we are headquartered in Germany, and where we have our state of art manufacturing plant. We have our headquarters. Now I'll just quickly, briefly take you through our journey. So we started in 1981, where these three gentlemen started from a small warehouse, where we first came up with a transistor inverter in those times in 1991, and then there was a continuous research and development on the various products, and obviously in 1995 we came up with our first string inverter, and then there was no looking at back, because after that we came up with a central inverter, as you can see, in 2003. Then there were multiple milestones of selling, be it selling the string inverters record cell in the world, or be it coming up with the e-mobility solution, or coming up with our digital platform, which is called NXOX, which is an energy management platform. So these are our key, milestones. And very recently, we have also come up with a SMA home energy solution for a residential customers, specifically, where they will be more. They don't have to rely more on the grid, and they can have a self consumption of energy, whatever they are generating. And recently we have, we are constructing another gigawatt factory in Germany. So this is our kind of a timeline so far, in a brief. Moving on, about our strength. So like we are present in more than 19 countries with 4,000 employees. And each country, we have our strong sales and service network. Along with that, we also have our strong technical team sitting together, and serving customers. And because of that, we're able to cater to more than around, or more than 190 countries across globe. So we have our strong global presence. And talking about strong presence, so if we, and since we are a listed company, all the details, all the figures are there on our website. So just to give a brief about the figures is, the in 2023, we clocking around 1.9 billion euros of sales, revenue. And with, as I mentioned, with 4,000 strong employees backing the whole SMA family. We have more than 159 gigawatt solar inverters present across the globe, which are supporting respective IPPs and EPCs and the customers. And definitely, as I mentioned repeatedly, that we have a strong R&D team. Thanks to that R&D team, we have more than 1,600 patents and utility models on our name. So that we take, that gives us edge in the field of renewable energy, to be very competitive and to be very innovative. Moving forward, means, when we talk about providing one solution, we also make sure that we try to become a one stop solution to the customer. Meaning, we are also there in the string inverters, but we make sure that we are also coming into the electric vehicle chargers, and the energy management system. So that's why we have this completely network solution. And this portfolio, and similarly, we have this whole holistic portfolio where we provide quality PV inverters for residential, commercial, as well as utility scale solar projects. Along with that, right now we are coming up with our electrolyzer, the inverters which are working along with these hydrogen fuel cells or electrolyzers. Those applications are also supported now with SMA. And obviously, we are one of the leading solution provider for storage applications, which are comparatively new in the world. And to support all this, we have a very strong service network. We have a very strong energy management system, so that everything can be on your laptop, on your mobile, so that you can monitor each and every moment what's happening within your generation, be it a small residential system, or be it a large system where it's about 100 megawatt plus. So that is why we have this whole holistic portfolio under our belt. uh, and so basically, so securing, so we being a very futuristic vision, we make sure that we are securing to future energy, and making sure that we are working on that particular new trend or a future trend right now from the inception time. So, and I guess hydrogen fuel cell is one of the examples. key examples where we foresee that hydrogen fuel cells is going to be a very crucial thing in future, and that is going to be connected with solar. So that is why we are one of the leading player at the moment. Moving forward, I think we all are solar technocrats, so I don't have to talk about how solar energy is growing and how renewable energy is growing. But uh, around this 400 gigawatt plus market globally, we are playing a very pioneering role. However, we make sure that we offer our solutions to each and every segment. So now I think I'll move to the very crucial point where we talk about what we offer. So this slide where you will see is more on the home segment where we typically bifurcate our whole portfolio in on-grid, hybrid, battery storage, and maybe a completely off-grid system. So you can see on my left here. So these are the on-grid inverters, which are ideal for the residential customers. These are the hybrid inverters, which are gaining attraction, but obviously where the battery insertion or battery related policies are very strong. These markets, we are having a good demand of these hybrid as well as battery inverters, and the complete off-grid solutions which we provide are which is we called as Sunny Island. So Sunny Island series is now, we came up in, I guess, 2001, and now we are into 2025. Still the same inverter with modifications and upgradations. Still it is going very strong. So that itself talks about the reliability. And these are the inverters which are more used in the island nations like Maldives or Indonesia, where there is a less dependency on the grid. And other than that, obviously for home segment we also have the EV chargers. Talking about software, we along with the hardware, we make sure that software is also most compatible and very much user friendly. So we have various softwares which actually help a customer or a technical team to make sure that the systems are as per the requirements. So for that we have Sunny Design. Sunny Portal is for making sure that your whole system is working properly, and if there is an issue, you can reach out to our team, just to name a few. And obviously, along with that, we have our various services on repowering or remote monitoring, or providing a warranty extension to these inverters, which I think I'll cover in future slides. Now, moving forward to the industrial, commercial and industrial segment. So here, I guess, in Bangladesh, most of our customers are using our 110 kilowatt inverter, which is a multi MPPT inverter, and these inverters are the kind of inverters where people are relying on their steady product and a good service from SMA. So these are the on-grid inverter again, where we have come up with for the C&S segment. So the Sunny Tripower X is a inverter which can be used for home as well as C&I segment, but these are the core one and core two, which we call typically are the strong competitors in the C&I segment. Along with that, we always have our energy management systems like Data Manager M and energy meter, which are always there. And obviously I think I won't touch base on more on this for storage inverters, which is mentioned here, because this is a very specifically used in the Europe, where we are in a collaboration with a battery manufacturer called Tesvolt, and this Tesvolt batteries and SMA, we provide a complete solution. But this is typically used in a market, more developed countries other than our Southeast Asia region. Moving forward, I think I'll just quickly touch base, though it is not a topic of today, but it is on how we are catering to the large scale or utility scale solar farms. And these are the central inverters, which are typically obviously a single MPPT inverters. Out of that range, I guess Sunny High Power or Peak 3 inverter is very well known in a C&I market also, because with this inverter you can actually design a system up to, easily up to 10 megawatt. This comes from a range of 100 to 180 kilowatt kW, and these are exactly the miniature versions of the central inverter with a single MPPT. So these are again the large scale segment is again the, bifurcated in on grid, hybrid or off grid, and obviously, as I mentioned, the electrolyzer converter or inverters which are supporting hydrogen fuel cells. So this is overall the overview of our portfolio, what we bring on table and what we have offerings. Uh, Other than that, when talking about this whole portfolio, we make sure that we are supporting on each and every aspect, be it storage systems or be it charging stations for vehicles, and be it energy management system. So these all things are completely networked or completely related to each other, so that we kind of offer a futuristic, kind of offer a single point solution for the future of energy. Moving on, what additionally what we bring on table is our application services, which are very much so we as I mentioned, we strongly believe in the customer centric approach, and that is why we have our offerings of engineering services, where we actually sit along with our customers and work around, understand their requirement, work with them, and provide a right solution. Then we also have smart connected systems, where we help them to monitor their systems, and on basis of that we work with the installers specifically for that. Warranty extension is very much crucial for all C&I and utility scale projects, especially for even for residential inverters, where we provide standard 5 years warranty, and this warranty is extendable to 15 years typically, the standard. It all also depends on which model we are talking about, but you are always on an average you are covered for 20 years of by SMA team. And the last but not the least is SMA repowering. So repowering is a offering where we actually provide the alternative solution if a customer is having a very old obsolete inverter, and if they want to go ahead with the SMA and revive the whole or repower the whole old system. So for that also we provide our technical expertise, and we work closely with the customer. Moving forward, I think this slide talks about our aspirations, and our aspiration is always to be more sustainable, and we try to make sure that we are sustainable in our ways. Being a solar inverter company, I think it is our moral responsibility to support sustainability and make sure that everything what we are doing, whatever our actions are aligning with the sustainability goals in this whole thing. So basically, as I like whatever it is, like be it the supply chain, be it integrity with a product life cycle, all these things are made sure that we are adhering the sustainability guidelines, and making sure that we are doing all things in the right way. And this has actually rewarded along with these particular awards which have received, and especially the Eco Valleys Award, the entity which has given us a gold medal. So that is a very prestigious award in the field of sustainability. So that also talks about our commitment towards the renewable sustainability and the renewable energy. And obviously ESG rankings ratings are also higher because of all these our activities and our commitments toward the sustainability. Moving forward, with the reliable solutions, like when we say reliability or reliable solution offering, we make sure that our inverters are having a completely a quality assurance test. And because for that we have our huge test labs where we make sure that each and every inverter is having a comprehensive quality test, which and they also meet the highest standards and standards which are set by set in Europe. So as per the international and European standard, we make sure that each and every inverter is tested and then it is sent. And result of which is what we have seen, that our inverters are standing very strong in the harshest conditions. So the right side, this photo is from the near North Pole, which where we have our inverters. So they are functioning properly in those harshest environmentals. Now talking about very important point about our partners, because being a OEM company, we believe that our partners are our on ground support staff in any country, and the same, because of that we have a strong network in the of the local partners in all across the globe. And for Bangladesh also, we have our service partners present who support our customer. And for that, we have various platforms where we make sure that we are closely working with our partners as well as with our customers. And we have our partner program, we have our solar academy, where we actually give some share the knowledge with our customers as well as our partners. But the most important thing is SMS service, where we have a SMA 360-degree app, where we have which we have recently launched, where the prompt response from our service team will be very much there. And along with the since partner will be physically present and we can't be physically present each and every time, these apps and service centers which we have are very crucial. But whenever required, our service team travels, and they are always supporting our customers. So I think this is the one of the last slides, and this itself talks about our focus on the IT security. So being a SMA, being a German or a European brand, we give a highest importance to the IT security or data sovereignty. And because of that, our Sunny portal or NXOS and other supporting functions have received this TUV certification of IEC 27001, which states that we are all online portals adhere to these particular norms which are stated by TUE. And these make sure that no data is shared with anyone, and the all data is secured. And on top of that, we have our own data centers in Germany. That is the reason there is no sacrifice on the data, which is now a threat nowadays. And there are a lot of cases which has happened because of data sovereignty is not particularly taken in the consideration. So we take pride on saying that we are very much adhering to the data sovereignty as well. So I think for further update, you can scan this. We have our Sunny newsletter, or you can reach out to me or our marketing team if you have any further questions, if you need any further clarification. And on top of that, we always make sure that we work closely with our customers so we can provide you a very much customized solutions for your energy requirements. And we'll be happy to have a further discussions after this call, after this a webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samant, for that insightful and informative presentation. Before we move ahead to our panel discussion, I just would like to screen a poll question just to get to know our audience a bit better. I would request our audience to kindly cast in their votes to this poll questions. These polls will stay open till the end of the webinar, and in the poll question, which is right below the Q&A box. So once again, these will stay open, and I won't delay much longer, and we will be beginning with our much anticipated panel discussion. So a quick reminder to all our attendees before that, we will have a live Q&A session at the end, so please keep your questions coming via the Q&A box. Our panel discussion today focuses on accelerating inverter adoption for reliable and sustainable energy in Bangladesh's industrial sectors. We are thrilled to welcome a stellar panel of industry leaders. We have with us Engineer Muhammad Mohin Habib, Executive Director, Engreen Engineering Limited, Mr. Muhammad Manohar Hussain, Head of Sustainability Teams Group, Mr. Shubhankar Chakrabarti, International Business Development from Fourth Partner Energy, Mr. Muhammad Omar Farooq, Technical Sales Manager from SolarHive Private Limited, Mr. Saeed Ishtiaq Ahmad, Director of Engineering and Innovation from Soulshare, Mr. Tanmay Samant, Manager Southeast Asia from SMA, Ms. Deepa Jadhav, Contact Center Administrator for India, North and West and Southeast Asia from SMA, Ms. Priyamvada Pandit, Technical Support Manager for India and Southeast Asia from SMA. And expertly moderating the discussion is Mr. Shafiqul Alam, Lead Analyst, Bangladesh Energy from the Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis. Welcome to all our panelists and over to Mr. Alam. I would just have a small request before that for all the panelists to kindly switch on their cameras. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me to this important discussion. And also, I would like to thank Mr. Tanmay for delivering an excellent presentation and covering the portfolio of SMA and also the service, what they can provide. I mean, what they are providing across the globe and then what they can provide in Bangladesh. So clearly, he touched upon all those factors. So before moving on to the panel discussion, just a few things to share. We have six panelists. So I would like to request everyone to limit their discussion within 5 to 6 minutes based on the guided questions for each of them. And then as Ms. Khan mentioned, then there will be a Q&A session and then Tonmoy and then his colleague will respond. So now before now moving on to the discussion, a few important things. Yesterday, the Bangladesh government has approved the draft renewable energy policy. So the new target is 6,145 megawatt by 2030, and then 17,470 megawatt by 2041. Those are the combined capacity. That means Bangladesh currently has roughly around 1,559 megawatt, including the off-grid systems. From then onwards, Bangladesh would need to raise the capacity to 6,145 megawatt. That is roughly, around 20% increase we need per annum till 2030, and then additionally we need to raise the capacity by roughly around 10% for the subsequent 11 years. So that's a huge task given the limited success that we have. But the industry sectors, we see a lot of potential there. So our panelists are here. They will share with us more all those opportunities, challenges, and where SMA can help, and other potential stakeholders can also help. With this, I would like to call upon Mr. Mohin Habib, Executive Director of Engreen, to briefly share with us on the industrial role of solar in industrial applications and how we can unlock this potential in Bangladesh, and what is the current status and what are the challenges you foresee and how we can address them. Thank you. You are on mute. Please, can you mute yourself?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for participating and listening to us today. Thanks Solar Quarter and SMA and SolarHive for organizing this webinar and invited me as a on grid systems and in Bangladesh opportunities and challenges. Regardless, any grid solar project is definitely related to the using of good quality inverter equipment. No compromise about that. As we know that a solar system is a long-term investment. Solar panels and inverters are the two main types of solar assets, and each has its own unique set of performance metrics that need to be monitored and maintained regularly. Why solar inverter function is very important? Because it transforms the direct current DC output of solar panels into AC alternating current that households and businesses can use. In that case, solar asset management is the most important part, which involves regularly scheduled maintenance and repair tasks to keep panel and inverter assets in good working condition. These tasks can include cleaning them properly, regular inspection, check inverter status, replacing damaged parts, and troubleshooting problems with equipment properly and timely to get targeted power generation, which is related to customers' ROA achievement. If you know that as of today in Bangladesh, renewable energy installed capacity is 1.56 gigawatt only, out of which on-grid is 888 megawatt, that is 57%. Off-grid is 377 megawatt, that is 24%. Others are, hydro 230 megawatt, wind 63 megawatt, fewer, biogas and mass. Okay. Definitely, we are far below than the target set of earlier. Earlier target was 2030, 30%. That was 16 gigawatt of total electricity generation, and by 2041, from RE it was targeted 41 gigawatt. That was around 40% of total electricity generation. As we already know that recently the revised draft has been approved yesterday with the new target, and so on. We got around 20% is target by 2030 and 30% by 2041. So target is limited now. So we need to make fight. If you know that our power sector in Bangladesh is already in a very challenging state. Number one is consistent gas shortages have left many power plants idle. And number two is the dollar crisis has made importing expensive LNG harder for the government. Bangladesh lags significantly in solar energy development and has much to learn from artists for rooftop installation. But still, on-grid setup is the prospect for Bangladesh garments, textile, pharmaceuticals, FMCG, and all other small industries, including household apartments, all government building, all private offices. Recently, DESCO, Dhaka Electric Supply Company, is one of the Bangladeshi power distribution company. They've launched a tender for 120 megawatt of on-grid solar to be installed in 8 lots of 15 megawatt each. And as we know that Bangladesh's limited land availability poses a significant challenge for large-scale renewable projects. In that case, certainly rooftop solar setup can play a significant role. And the most important is that generation cost for rooftop solar is much lower than that the average grid power generation cost of Bangladesh. To encourage rooftop solar adoption, two financing models are widely used. A CAPEX, capital expenditure model, and OPEX is operational expenditure model. In the CAPEX model, users purchase and install solar panels at their own expense. The entire system, including design and implementation, is managed by a solar installation company, while users bear the total project cost upfront. In contrast, the OPEX model allows consumers to avoid upfront cost. A third-party company installs, maintains, and operates the solar panels, while users pay for electricity at a lower rate than the conventional grid rate. This rate is fixed through a power purchase agreement, that is a PPA, for a set number of years. Government has to relax net metering policy to boost rooftop solar. Earlier, rooftop solar users could only transmit up to 70% of their generated electricity to the grid through net metering. And the revised policy has been addressed to promote such as net metering now allows 100%. Policy expansion includes single phase and prepaid for participation. Industries can reduce cost by transmitting surplus power on non-operational days. Solar capacity integration limit raised to 80% of transformer capacity. Earlier it was 70%. And factories could generate 5,000 megawatt using available rooftop space. Now, let's have a look at the financing option. Local bank financing scheme is a big concern. Interest rate and ease of loan availability should be applicable from all banks to receive by the consumer properly and timely. This must be ensured by central bank, which is not happening. If you look into the foreign private investment, which presents significant opportunities for Bangladesh renewable energy sector, recently a couple of foreign firms expressed their interest for investing in solar power projects in our country. This could help Bangladesh increase its renewable energy production, reduce its dependency on fossil fuels, and reduce environmental impact. It could also create jobs and attract additional investments, boosting the country's economy. Such investments can contribute to the country's renewable energy ambitions while fostering economic growth and collaboration among the nations. However, we are very positive and let us engage our residential industry customers, keep moving forward as a renewable energy family, along with all EPCs, members, and suppliers in the industry to help and support each other for the country's green energy execution accordingly. To reduce the carbon emission by installing rooftop solar aggressively in all empty rooftops, and such way fulfill the SDG goal accordingly. I hope that we can do, of course. And that's all for today. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Moin Habib, for bringing a lot of insights like the crisis challenges that the country is currently facing. For instance, the dollar crisis that is limiting the fossil fuel imports and leading up to the curtailment of production in the industrial facilities that eventually further impacts the GDP, and of course rooftop solar that provides a lot of opportunities. There are also challenges he has mentioned, like the financing challenges. Yes, we see that the central bank's green refinancing schemes, those remain unutilized. A lot of factors are at play, and that a lot of factors contribute as to why those schemes remain unutilized. But moving forward now, I'd like to request Mr. Shubhankar Chakraborty. He is from a Fourth Energy Partner. He's working as he's looking international business development at Fourth Energy Partner. So I would like to request you to touch upon the long-term reliability in CNI sector, CNI solar, and what matters the most to leading IPPs. If you could elaborate on that.
Thank you, Mr. Sufik, for having me here. I would like to thank the entire SMA team, First View Group, for organizing this event. And just to exchange our thought around the major concern is accelerating the growth of adopting renewable energy for this country. We are all here to contribute from ourselves, and at the same time, I would like to thank all my fellow panel speakers for making it happen. So coming to the question that reliability of the CNI sector. So if I give a brief, introduction of me and my company, we are looking after, I'm from Fourth Partner Energy. So that is basically a company which is looking after, project development in ASEA countries, Southeast Asian countries. We have predominant operation in India. And apart from that, we have presence in Vietnam, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Indonesia. So CNI is one of our key areas where we continuously strive to develop our presence, and at the same time how we can develop the overall scheme of things. So precisely, if I give you my experience or our company's experience, what challenges we faced in terms of CNI segment. So that is basically in terms of, if I talk about the reliability, that is the quality concern and how the system is going to perform. Because if I see the overall, contribution or consumption of power in the CNI segment of Bangladesh, it is close to somewhere around 15%. But the renewable energy contribution towards the overall energy mix is somewhere around close to 2%, whereas the global, benchmark is somewhere around 15%. So still there is a big gap, and there is an area where you can actually target. So potential is definitely there, but the major concern what we experienced, that we got to know from the major industries of CNI sector, that how reliable it is, because of course for them still it's something which is very new. They have a certain sort of reliability on the conventional source of power, but when it comes to renewable, how we can ensure that it is going to perform or it is going to give us the optimum energy for the next 20-25 years, whatever it is, what we are committing to. So from that aspect, what we believe, we actually focus on quality assurance, that whatever products you are choosing, like Tanmay mentioned in his slides, that what are the certifications, we need to be very precisely, we need to educate them that what sort of certification is required to have a proper check when they're actually selecting the products. When it comes to inverter, when it comes to panel, when it comes to cable, every nitty-gritty they have to check properly. And at the same time, they'll have to go with certain vendors or developers. Like if I talk about us, we are developing projects in OPEX model predominantly. So there are certain EPC players, those who are doing projects in the CAPEX model. So when you are choosing them, you'll have to understand, what quality they are offering, their background checks and everything, their project and everything. So this is something which needs proper care, and where much focus is required to put to get to at least ensure the reliability. And at the same time, one more key area for the renewable energy project is asset management. So see, as you were mentioning that, there is an obligatory requirement to have certain sort of capacity to enable. So like 5%, 10%, it is actually, the initiative is good just to drive the country to get more renewable energy adoption. But for to achieve this obligatory measure, somehow the quality is getting compromised, and there is a lack of asset management activities which we have experienced. And that's the reason the rooftop solars, which is installed in the residential sector or small scale rooftop solars, are not performing well. And that is actually leading to a certain sort of state that people have they are having little less faith in terms of renewable energy adoption. So asset management needs proper care. So when I talk about asset management, it's not only about cleaning the panels, it's about regular checking of the entire system. Then how we are getting the after sale service, like we have experience of SMA products, we are getting very good after sale service from their side. So when we're choosing the products, that sort of thing is required to be ensured, that what is the after sale service quality, how fast we can get our products replaced if it is not going in the right direction, if any troubleshooting error is there. So that sort of thing is definitely required to address before choosing the proper solar system, because at the end of the day, you need to understand that this is the future. So right now we are relying on the fossil fuel, and it will continue for next 5-10 years. But somehow, after a certain period of time, you'll have to make your energy transition. You will have to shift towards renewable. So for solar, in my last 14-year experience, what we figured out, the time is now. So if you need to adopt the solar energy, better you educate yourself. I would urge all the industry owners, those who are present here, and of course, it's a mantra for all of us that we should educate the industry people to understand the right product so that they can make it happen in a most efficient manner. So that is my take on this reliability of the solar in terms of CNI sector. So that is there. And second question, please correct me if I'm wrong. You mentioned that what are the challenges we actually oversee when it comes to IPP model, right? So for an IPP model, there are a few factors which are paramount. If I say the first one is technological advancement. So IPP is large scale solar power plant. So when I talk about technological advancement, it comes with the grid stability. So how the grid of this particular geography or the country is stable, that is required to be ensured. Because if I give you our example, we have a very good presence in Vietnam. So what we figured out in last 2 years, they actually adopted a huge amount of renewable energy during the period of 2021 to 2023. So in the year they actually adopted around 900 megawatt. So eventually they found that the grid is unstable, so which is leading to energy wastage. So they have the energy resources, but because of the grid instability, they are not being able to utilize that properly. Then in the recent phenomena, we have experienced what happened to Spain, like the blackouts. So this is actually the result or the consequences of unstable grid. So yes, of course, it is a good initiative, as you mentioned, that the renewable energy policy was actually approved by the chief advisor yesterday. That's an ambitious target which he has set. But at the same time, existing infrastructure is required to be improved. Otherwise, the same thing will again happen, and people will actually they will lose. They will not be able to capitalize the actual resources. So that is my point. This technological advancement, which includes real-time monitoring for better utilization of the plant, then again integrating battery energy storage system in the IPP model, because solar power is intermittent in nature. So if you want to capitalize the entire solar capacity or the sizing of the plant, so you need to have all these things in place. Then if you can incorporate blockchain technology for the energy trading purpose, so that sort of thing we can look into when it comes to technological innovation. So apart from that, there are one of the major factors that we actually found, that policy level advocacy. If I say, like we experienced that in last few months, multiple tenders actually got floated. But in my experience, what we figured out that it fails to draw that much attention from the developers, because there are multiple challenges where attention is needed from the government or from the nodal bodies, like land acquisition point of view. Then policy has to be in favorable for the developer, and at the same time it has to be favorable for all the stakeholders, those who are engaged in this entire process. So that needs to be carried out. And where proper land acquisition, I would again emphasize, because still there are a lot of gray areas in this entire process when I talk about Bangladesh, and of course largely Southeast Asian countries. The same thing we experience in India as well, but somehow it is getting sorted. But in Bangladesh, a lot of work is supposed to be happen because the potential is huge, and the developers are interested to actually invest and develop projects. So that is number two. And number three, what you mentioned just before asking me this question, that macroeconomic stability. That is another key factor, like which includes the inflationary status, the economic stability, and also the credibility of the power distribution board. Because ultimately, you'll have to sell the power to the power distribution board. So, what sort of a payment regularization is happening? Whether the payment is regular or not, how it is getting happened in terms of commercial terms and conditions, how it is getting negotiated. So all these sort of things is required to be addressed properly, so that we can create a ecosystem where all the stakeholders are safe and secure. So that is something which we believe as an organization. We are continuously developing our projects in Bangladesh. Currently, we have developed around 5 megawatt. Completely, we are OPEX player, so we have developed 5 megawatt in the CNI market, and we are also interested to delve into this IPP model. But before that, we are expecting that some sort of modifications or amendments or some sort of thing will happen, which will make us which will make our investment favorable for the country as well as for us. So that is from my side. And thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Shubhankar. So, yeah, you have rightly mentioned for the rooftop, I mean, small scale segment, rooftop solar, they have the issue of, you know, people had the bad experience in the past because of those unreliable small scale rooftop solar system. Those were implemented as part of their obligation to get the grid connection. Those are not performing well. Many of them are stranded. And on the other hand, for the utility scale projects, you have rightly mentioned three, four things. Land acquisition, that is a big issue here. Had the land acquisition been much simpler, or had the country not been so much dense, I mean, it would have been much more easier for the project developers to develop projects very quickly. And then there's, of course, this some of the macroeconomic factors, those are there. And then, of course, while the government has fixed the target, there must be proper assessment of the national grid, how the government can make the grid more reliable in the foreseeable future, given that the nuclear power plant will be online uh, sometime between 2026 and 2027, the first of the two units. So that will be that will be operational as a baseload power plant at probably more than 80%, 90% plan factor. So there will be a lot of issues unless the government addresses this grid stability issue and the very variable nature of the solar and wind. Of course, both are highly variable. We can see that. But thank you very much. And now I'd like to invite Mr. Manohar, head of sustainability at the team group. He has a lot of experience from the industry, and also he was previously with the BGMEA, so he knows the sector very well. What are the challenges those industries are currently facing to take up rooftop solar system, and what are the industries that have already implemented, what kind of benefits they are receiving. So he knows these factors very well. And on top of this, I'd like to request him to also touch upon the decarbonization goal the apparel sector has, and how rooftop solar can help. Of course, it cannot meet the full target, but how it can help, and also can corporate power purchase agreement also help us, and what are the changes that we need to make corporate power purchase agreement very effective. Mr. Monwar.
Thank you. Good afternoon from Dhaka, and thank for the organizer inviting me in this webinar. So thank you, Shufik Bhai, for the questions that you have asked. Um, So I have worked in BGMA as a head of sustainability for a period of like 10 years, and currently I'm working at Team Group. So due to working with BGMA, I had the opportunity to work with the policy advocacy area. So I worked a lot with the government, and what I have found that government is actually ready to support, but government needs to give the right sort of business case of what we, what sort of policy advocacy we do. So back in 2019, we have been able to sign an MOU with SHEDA and BGMEA. So SHEDA was like very positive about signing the MOU, but then what happened is, um, the problem is when you work with government. For instance, one of the clause was to having PPP project, public-private partnership project for solar, whereby small and medium-sized enterprises will be have some equity share along with the government, and government will give us some land. Now the thing is, the land issue is with some other ministries, so it was very difficult to materialize. And also change in government and so many other things happen, so we have not been able to proceed that much. So that's the experience of working with government. But still, when we talk about Bangladesh RMG industry, at least 60% of our product goes to Europe. And what Europe is envisaging to do, the target of Europe is to achieve net zero by 2050, and 50% emission reduction, or if I talk about science-based target initiative, at least aggregatedly 42% reduction, or 42% reduction of GHG emission, or decarbonization. Now if you see the target of Europe and the target that Bangladesh government has set, there is a huge deviation, from a mismatch. So it is obvious that the RMG industry, we cannot depend on the national grid. So national grid is something that we cannot definitely depend on. So we have to align ourselves with the strategic target of the brands that we cater to. For instance, if I talk about one of the major brand of Bangladesh, which is H&M. H&M's target is to achieve 56% GHG emission reduction by 2030. So what BGMA's target? BGMA wants to reduce its carbon emission by 30% by 2030. Me as a head of sustainability of Team Group, Team Group is a business of 6 garment units and many other units. We have 12 different businesses. We are a business of nearly $750 million. So being a huge business in Bangladesh, we set our target not to go with the national target. We have decided to follow SBTI, Science Based Target Initiative, and thereby we see that we have to reduce minimum 10% of the emission from the base year by 2030, and our base year is like 2022, whereby we first do our CDP, Carbon Development Project. Now what we are doing, looking into our factories, we have set a policy that we will be principally depending on solar. So we want to maximize the consumption of solar, but looking into the available rooftop, we cannot make more than 30% of the consumption from solar. And more importantly, it is varied a lot. But the thing is, it is connected to national grid. So in we see that it works very good. And the second priority is our own gas based generator, because carbon emission wise, that's the second best thing that we have in hand. And with a efficiency of nearly 90%, we have been able to make best use of our natural gas to have our own captive generation. And the third option is we go for REB, that is our national grid, and thereby our emission factor is grid emission factor is 0.62. So, and the last thing that we sometimes compel to use is the diesel. So standing from that perspective, when we talk about decarbonization, when we talk about aligning the global businesses alignment with our business goals in terms of decarbonization, solar is the right choice and solar is the feasible choice. Talking about numbers, when we do captive generation in gas, it costs us around 8 to 9 taka. If we go for diesel, it costs us 30 taka, 32 taka, 33 taka. And if we go for national grid, I think it's 9 to 11 taka. But amazingly, the cost of solar is in and around 5 taka. So it has a solid business case. So there is no way that we are not going to invest in solar. We are definitely interested to invest in solar. I think what we need, or the other SMEs in Bangladesh need, is availability of solar power, availability of land, availability of funds. We do have good amount of avenue for funds. For instance, we have funds from AFD, we have funds from GCF, we have funds from KfW, and many JICA and many other avenues. But the thing is, they have a huge ticket size whereby SMEs cannot, get the fund. For us, for a company like our scale, it's not a problem having fund. Our problem is to having available land for offsite solar. And for SMEs, they don't have enough space, so they also need land and money. So I think the challenge is, the policy advocacy has to be not from only from us. I think we need support from all the stakeholders. Together we can have a national policy framework whereby we suggest the government, even the interim government can also be helped, that what is the right sort of strategy. We're still facing a significant amount of import tax when we import solar panels. So that's not going to help the factories to go for decarbonization move. And we all know that 80% of the incomes are coming from the RMG sector. So government should have, in many cases, have separate strategy for that. So last but not the least, if I talk about the corporate power purchase agreement, as Sufik Bhai asked, I think this is also one of the amazing way of generating investment for solar IPPs. And to do that, I think all we need is a very clear, doable policy framework from the government, and also support from the Ministry of Land, whereby they can allocate or lease the lands as per the life value of a solar panel, which is 25 to 30 years. And then if we can do it, if we can have available green energy in the market, it will not only help the industry, but also it will feed into the national grid, and it will also reduce the grid emission factor of Bangladesh. So it will also help the government, and it will also help the industry. And also it can be a very good business model, because if we fail to have enough energy, green energy, renewable energy produced in our own premises, we can have it from offsite, and we can definitely meet the goal of the brands. And after that, we can also think of, maybe it's not connected to this discussion, but carbon credit could also be an option, and it could be a very good business option. If we can have khas lands, government have many khas lands, if we can do afforestation over there, those projects can be registered in CDM, and those things could also help the RMG industry to match or achieve the goal of decarbonization, because that is decisive for us to stay in the business in the days to come. So it's a very limited time, so I try to share whatever I have in my mind. Over to you, Shufik Bhai. I hope I have been able to answer you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, I mean, there are deviations, there are variations among the targets. Those also have obvious reasons, but you have rightly pointed out that industries that have the financial capacity, financial muscle, they can quickly ramp up rooftop solar and other systems. But those who have the financial constraints, they struggle. So the Bangladesh banks green refinancing schemes that we need to make more conducive, so that small entities can easily have access to them. And on the other hand, this the large scale financing that you have mentioned, but one key challenge we see here at this moment, that we do not have any investment ready projects, because the government had to cancel, whatever the reason is, had to cancel LYs of those projects that those were issued without any competition. So that is another challenge. And you also have rightly mentioned the carbon credit thing. Yes, in any case, if industries cannot meet their uh, mitigation target by implementing rooftop solar and purchasing from other source, and also implementing energy efficiency, if there is still shortfall, then probably they will have to depend on carbon credit. And then the Department of Environment, I know that they are currently working on the Article 6, the readiness program for Article 6. Let's see how far we can progress on that. But thank you for bringing all those insights. Now I'd like to request Mr. Omar from SolarHive. Um so he is the technical service manager there, technical sales and service manager. I'd like to request you to touch upon the factors that are driving project success. Um, for instance, you have the dual role as a distribution partner of SMA. On the other hand, you are also providing service. I mean, your organization, Solar Hive. So, how these are adding value to the customers, particularly in terms of end-to-end support and local market responsiveness, and then what are the, I mean, what kind of feedbacks you are receiving from your customers? Yeah.
Hi, thank you. Thanks to giving me chance to share something. Today I will discuss on some key points. One from business perspective, second one from service, and third one I will share some challenges and some other points. But I will make it short. So first thing is I will share some keynotes from business perspective. SolarHive doing business in Bangladesh from 2016, and before that we have business in Bangladesh. But from SolarHive flag, we started business here, and from the beginning until now, we are handling so many projects, and in about around more than 100 projects in Bangladesh. And last year, around 55 megawatts we have delivered. And it's not like delivered, it's one kind of solution provider. So first thing is SolarHive not a EPC company, it is just a distribution company. So from the view of distribution side, we are just receiving and supplying your requirements, nothing else. So in that business perspective, what I'm facing from previous, or if I share some insight, uh, sorry. Okay. From the beginning, we have supplied more than 100 projects in Bangladesh. So from business aspect, we have delivered as per 100 projects. I will share some insight to the listeners. See, here uh, we are providing you service, Master LC. We are providing you supplying inverter, some other solution like weather station, and some other generator solution. So it is from business side. So if I talk about Master LC policy, I think it would be a good option for the listeners, because distribution is very easy discussion for all, and everyone knows about that. So I just talk about some key points. Main point is we are handling Master LC. So what is that? We are providing the service from 2020. Bangladesh has a policy: if any industry-based company or export-based company or RMG-based, whatever it is, if you are a productive company, you can install your project, and based on that, you can import your whole projects from foreign country, and you will get a custom benefit. And we are providing that. It's not like we are providing 1% benefit or custom benefit. We are just assisting you. Okay, so in that case, we just taken the order, and I mean, we are taking the whole order as a turnkey basis, and we are providing you and our several customers. Even we are handling in average 10 consignment every month. Last year, as I shared earlier, we have supplied 55 megawatt. It is only for SM inverter. around 80% projects are master LC. So customers are taken whole projects through us. So in that case, customers are getting benefit from custom, and some others 20%, or it can be 25%. It is imported from trading company and other EPCs. So based on that, I will share. It is one kind of business perspective. If I share insight from service, because we are not only distribution partner, we are also service partner. So SolarHive is mostly very renowned in Bangladesh only for service quality. It is not only for SMA inverter, it is also for service whole plant. Even we have so many records where we live, it's called repowering so many projects which already did. So we already live that whole project, and we delivered it very successfully. So in that case, I have faces so many issues, so many challenges from customer side, from supplier side, from EPC side. I'm not neglecting any stakeholders. I'm just sharing some insight, because Mr. Shubhankarda is sharing asset management, choosing some right products, educate industry stakeholders. So I'm just sharing some practical knowledge, because he's just sharing some point of view of knowledge, but I'm sharing practical view, because every day, even daily basis, we are handling service, we are supplying products to solar PV market or solar PV project. So in as per service cases, we seen that customer chosen very, I mean, cheaper product. So I'm not criticizing any other brands or any other products or any other solution provider. I'm just pointing out, whenever you choosing product, you must consider your heart. I'm just consider inverter as a heart of the system. I mean solar power plant. Whenever you select a plant, you must choose your inverter very precisely. Otherwise, even if you install 5 megawatt project, 10 megawatt project, if your inverter not working, whole projects going down. It's not working, and you will not get anything from this project. So even your inverter cost is very if around, it is around 15%, for example. It depends on what kinds of facility customer wants from EPC or solution provider. So just roughly, it is around 15% cost of whole project. So customer just considering 1%. If I considering any other cheaper product with SMA, so it is around 1 or 2%. So if you just consider this 2%, because SMA always considering high quality cheap high quality semiconductor doping in technical perspective. So if you just consider a very short amount, I think you will not be loser. Your whole plant will be sustainable, will be your plant reliability will be higher. Even in Bangladesh, you will see more than 17 years two plants is still alive. And I have so many project example in Bangladesh which already crossed 10 years. So from service point of view, I just request industry stakeholders, just when you select your products, it's not only inverter, everything else. Even if your cable, if you select wrong cable, I mean not wrong cable, it is a very cheaper cable. Even I see some, not some, so many industry owner, they chosen just a price sensitive product. Even when I see if I giving example on cable, they are just providing UV protected cable. So just after 1 year, all kinds of color vanished. So why it is UV protected? So that's why, even if your cable cable connection or cable quality going down, your inverter will be shut down or standby, even it can be damaged. So I request you all, even every kind of product, inverter, cable and PV modules, and also installation, everything should be counted. It is not only cost, it also your quality installation. I definitely I will respect on your budget, but definitely even you should not destroy your minimum budget also. If you invest 10% more, you will get 50% more benefit from it. So I just request you all, just consider it. And third one is, I will share some challenges to our
Okay, just to interrupt you one thing, another speaker, Mr. Istiak, sent me a message that he needs to leave, you know. So
okay.
yeah. So yeah, thank you for your insights. So I mean, just I'm sorry, I need to just to make a little change here. So uh, for the last two speakers, I'll invite Miss Priyambada later, just a little bit later. So Mr. Istiak, so yeah, uh, uh, could you please share with us, the real world applications through the technological solutions, including that from SMA, and also the business models that you are, currently adopting in your business, in your operational activity, in your solar projects, and what kind of models, are more attractive to the customers? If you could kindly, elaborate us on that.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Shafik, and thanks SMA for arranging this webinar, and yeah, thanks for to the audience for joining this. So first, I'll highlight the what are the real world applications that we have been doing, and a few more things that are upcoming. Actually, my journey with SMA is a bit like since 2007. It's almost 17 years. So I would say SMA has the diversification of products starting from off grid to on grid and to CNI, and also to these megawatt scale inverters and all this, and they are very much focused on this. So that's a good thing about SMA. So you can customize any solution considering, because whenever you design a solution according to the client requirement or industry requirement, or the ground reality lying at the industry, whenever all the components are interconnectable, they can communicate to each other, because nowadays everything needs to be communicated to each other for better functioning. So SMA has the right pool of products and communication devices. That's one good thing. So in real world application, I would start from the beginning. Like in Bangladesh, we have seen a lot of diversified application. In the early days, it was complete standalone off-grid solutions in the special in off-grid households or all other parts. Then I can recall there is significant development of mini grids. Most of the mini grids that has been done so far, 26, are based on SMA grid tie inverters and hybrid inverters. Those are AC coupled and DC coupled. Then there was an interesting case where that was a dairy farm where we had to integrate the solar into a local generator. Local generator, local Chinese local generator. So normally, sorry, yeah, okay, something was there. So in that case, this SMA has the unique capacity to configure the inverters to various parameter changes. Especially that was very challenging, configuring the grid tie inverter to a Chinese generator that has very wide frequency and voltage level. So that's what and now the industry is going for especially in the C&I industry, C&I sector, rooftop solars, where SMA is playing a significant role. Because so far from our experience, what most of the clients overlooks is the reliability and confidence on the inverter. Because always I say, whenever you are planning for a solar, you are actually investing next 20 years of energy cost in days one. So I mean, if we design and calculate all the IRR and payback period based on something that needs to happen, that's for our next 10 or 20 years spread it. So on that case, we should not compromise. We need to know which components are best suited for my application cases. And we should not count on the initial capital investment if it's not significantly there's a significant variance. So that will ensure that whatever financial calculation you have done on your Excel spreadsheet, that actually reflects on the real field. That's the most important thing, because we normally we see many of the industries do compromise in selecting the not only inverters on all other aspects. And also I have seen few practical cases where the engineering and not regulated compliances but electrical compliances has been compromised. That may result in fatal or a disaster. I mean, recently I have experienced 2 weeks immediately just after Eid vacation. One factory I won't name, they have installed almost near to a megawatt of solar rooftop. The inverters were good, panels were tier one, everything was good, but the workmanship, I mean, they just caught fire, and which is a very dangerous thing, and but a very common phenomena, especially on the metal shed roof. It's not very common in the a flat roof, because it remains unattended for a long time. And he was lucky that he just got noticed immediately when they opened after Eid vacation of 7 days. They noticed the fire incident. Imagine what would have happened to his $1 million factory, because there was some compromise on the engineering and EPC things. So these are the cases where we need to look at. Now, talking about the business model, yes, already the speakers has mentioned that in the industry there are capex and opex, and also there is BOOT, which is means this that's a hybrid of capex and opex. So capex, sometimes it looks very lucrative, and sometimes it's based on pure Excel sheet. Because if you do not, if any industry is very much focused, I mean, on other side of other businesses, and they do not have, or rather they should not, I mean, normally they do not have the that much focused over for next 20 years to operate and maintain the solar facility, then they should think otherwise. Because there is, of course, there is a gap between return on investment. When capex, it's obviously it will be much better than what is opex, but opex is completely others business. Whoever is serving as resco or esco, it's their headache. The company should be only taking the energy, whatever they will be consuming, they will be paying for that. Of course, the thing is, are you calculating the risk? Are you taking the risk into consideration in your Excel sheet? The risk may be technology risk, environment risk, operational risk, a lot of uncertainties, because it's a matter of next 20 years. So these are the missing things. And opex, yes, opex sometimes is very lucrative, as I said. Those industries who are very much focused on their core business, they are not into energy, they are not into other things. Recently we have found some multinationals, they boldly said, energy is not our piece of cake. We understand our business, and we want to collaborate with those who understands energy like us. So there's the capex. And but of course it's sometimes it becomes a question of return on investment and payback period. Because access to finance in Bangladesh, yes, there are a couple of avenues for low cost financing, like it call or green bank financing, and sometimes it's offshore financing. So the industrial clients sometimes thinks about the very quick payback, return on investment is very high. That's okay for them, but my suggestion to all of them, like, be careful while preparing the financials. You have to consider all the risk elements and deviation elements into that. As sole share, we are a German origin energy tech company. So we provide both capex, opex, and also engineering services. We do for the opex, actually, we collaborate with few top brands, global fashion brands like bestseller, and we are also working with other brands. And our initiative is to decarbonize their sourcing facility. We don't say it's only solar, it's decarbonizing their facility. And while saying so, in decarbonizing of the RMG facility, solar is just beginning. Next, lot of initiatives needs to be there, especially the introduction of energy storage that will replace the diesel consumption efficiently. And from the carbon offset side, it's almost double carbon offset than a conventional. With a regular rooftop, you just only replace 0.647 grams of carbon on each megawatt hour of sorry, kilowatt hour of electricity you replace. But same with the generator energy, or diesel powered energy, it's almost double. So that is, and also it has become an industry necessity, because most of the cases the diesel generators or gas generators are running far below on their optimum level of operation, that's 80%. So many cases I have found the generators are running 30 to 40% level, which is increasing their per unit cost of per unit generation significantly. So energy storage may be the next big thing, and also other interventions will be there. And that's only the RMG industry. But for government already, as our grid network is expanding and government is focusing on stability and reliability, and which is a must to synchronize the Rupur nuclear power plant. So these new technologies like solar and energy storage at distribution level to frequency stabilization and grid stabilization, it's almost it has become inevitable, it will be a must in next couple of years. So that will be from my side. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for, you have raised a lot of points. Of course, the storage, we certainly need that, because as I also mentioned earlier, and Mr. Monwar also mentioned, with that paltry contribution of rooftop solar, their decarbonization goal will not be able to reach there. So certainly, battery storage would be needed, and that is also important for the grid stability. We experienced a couple of blackouts, partial blackouts in 2022, and before that in 2007, 2009. So a lot of issues are there. So, and of course, nuclear power plant, all these require the grid stability more than ever. And alongside that, this you have also rightly mentioned about the risk factor. What are the I mean, while we are doing the math, the return on investment, but we should also consider how we are going to address the risks of next 20 years, 25 years, because the investment is for 20, 25 years. So yes, I think this insight should certainly be helpful for the audience who are attending. And now I would like to request Ms. Priyambada uh, for the last and final questions of the panel discussion, um, that is related to achieving compliance through zero export systems, role of technology and training. So that's related to grid constraints and strict regulatory requirements, and when the export is not possible, and how does SMA support customers in
Mhm.
implementing reliable zero export solutions, and what role
Mhm.
does technical support play in ensuring training, compliance, and system stability?
Okay. First of all, thank you, Mr. Shafiqul, and everyone on the panel for very detailed and insightful discussion, because I understand from all the discussions also, when we are talking about the industrial sector in Bangladesh, I think it is one of the major sector. I have read somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, that it is around the industrial sector consumption of electricity, of the total energy electricity consumption of Bangladesh, is around 40-42% or somewhere around that. So it's significantly high, and that's why the contribution of the industrial sector in the renewable and in the sustainable energy definitely is going to help for overall in meeting the overall goal of the country. But at the same time, every sector has its own challenges. So, for example, in renewable sector with PV, in specifically industrial sector, as you asked in the question, what are the typical requirements in the zero export? So, in many of the applications or projects, probably the approval for exporting the power is not there, but still you want to meet the renewable energy requirement of the company, because if it is, for example, it's an international company probably, and they have certain goals of themselves which might not directly align with that particular country. So they might want to put higher percentage on their rooftop, or they so that they can have higher contribution, but they are not allowed to export. And if their load profile does not match the energy generation profile of solar. In that case, one option obviously you always have is to use battery storage, that you whatever excess generation you have, you store it in the battery and use it at the later point in time. But again, it's a capital intensive solution because of the batteries and everything. The overall uh, project capex increases. Also, because of the batteries, you have some repetitive O&M. Also, you'll have to replace batteries after a few years. uh, but if that is not the case, then what you would want is at least to make sure, if your at least your load pattern is higher during day, then at least you will try to capture as much as possible and make sure you're not exporting to the grid. In some cases, there might be the limitation on how much you can export it to the grid. So probably you are only allowed to export, say, 500 kilowatt, not more than that. So that is limited export. So when we talk about zero export or limited export, one thing is very important to understand: what is the difference between how the solar works as compared to how the other generators like diesel generators work, or the grid works. So typically diesel generators and the grids or any rotating generator, what it does, that it will run at the power depending upon how much is the requirement or how much is the connected load, right? So if, for example, right now my load requirement is only 50%, my generators will run at 50% only. But for the solar, that does not happen. As long as your voltage and frequency, if it is a grid connected inverter, within the operating limits, it will generate depending upon how much you have on the DC side, how much solar is available. So that's why somebody needs to give feedback to the inverter that how much you need to generate at any specific point in time. And that's why you need feedback. And all these parameter settings need to be done in the inverter. You don't require any specialized equipment for that, apart from inverter and a meter, typically, to give a feedback. But then you need to, according to the project, you will have to do the parameter setting. So our team typically will evaluate what is the requirement and will do the settings, help you do the settings in the inverter. This is a one-time thing. At the same time, sometimes if you don't know exactly, for this all happens and automatic. So this you just set up the meter in your system and it gives the feedback. This is about when we talk about the energy export. But similarly, there are other challenges which you can even solve with this kind of setup. Specifically, very important for the industrial sector is about the power factor. Industries, what in the industrial area, whatever loads you have, they are typically consuming a lot of reactive power. And if you put a solar plant on the top of the factory typically, and if your systems are operating at, say, unity power factor, suddenly you will see after putting the solar, the power factor at the grid interconnection has gone haywire. It has reduced a lot, and there are penalties if you go beyond certain value. So to avoid that, it is important that your PV system should be able to also support you with the reactive power. So inverters currently which are available, they are very much able to do that. Just that you need to enable or unlock the specific parameters of the inverter and the capacity of the inverter. So this becomes very important, especially in the industrial sector. In the pure utility where you don't have many local loads, you are exporting all the power, or even in the residential where your loads are not uh, uh, consuming reactive power that intensively, they typically there you don't see this problem. But in the industrial sector, this is a very big problem. And then people there, obviously you have option of going with other, say, capacitor banks or APFC panels and everything. But again, those are very expensive options. You need a lot of operation and maintenance. Here, without any additional investment, you'll be able to solve these problems. So all this we support typically with our solutions, so that you are able to increase as much as possible your PV penetration for your and achieve your sustainability goals. And at the same time, you can have in the industries where you are using say diesel generators, it is also possible. So if you want to integrate your system along with the grid, probably there are multiple reasons. Some of the factors, they require 24/7 uninterrupted energy, and if the grid is not stable enough, then you have some of the processes purely running 24/7 on the diesel generators. In some of the industries, diesel generators will act as a backup. But in both the cases, if there is a significant use of diesel generators, you would want the PV to be integrated with the those systems. So that is also possible. I mean, for many years, this is not a new solution. We have solutions where it allows you to there are controllers which allows you to have this integration. This is one thing. And apart from that, we have briefly many other panelists have talked about it, the importance of good installation, and that's when it comes about the training part and everything. Because many of the times uh, uh, normal on-grid PV is not much different from we would say normal electrical systems, but the DC part is something that we need to understand, because most of the electricians who are on the site, they would be well versed with the normal common electrical requirements. But from inverter point of view, or for the PV system point of view, how the installation typically should happen on the DC side, even that also becomes very much important and critical. We are designing the system to last long for 20 to 25 years. This is typically driven obviously by the panels, because panels are going to last long for say 25 years. We want all our components to last long for that, including the inverters. And that's why even when we are designing the inverters, and we have proven that because we have inverters running for 20 to 25 years out in the field actually. So this is not on the paper. But along with that, we want even the other products, your cables, your connectors, all other equipments, your circuit breakers should last long for that. And for that, very important factor is how the installation is done and what are the good installation practices. That's where we help with the training. So we can give training to your team, give them information about what are the good installation practices, so that the operation and maintenance cost is reduced. So if you put some more efforts at the first time itself, then the work that you have to do later on, you don't have to visit the site again and again, you don't have to send people again and again, but we will be able to do it in the first go itself. So we offer these kind of trainings along with our partners from Solar Hive. So these kind of trainings we do take. Please contact Solar Hive or our team if you need these kind of trainings, which will help both. I mean, it helps for the installers, it helps end customer, as well as I think it helps we as a manufacturer as well, because there are less problems that we see on the site. So from servicing point of view also, it becomes easier for everyone. So this is I think I think this is a very important part, because we want a reliable system. It's not just about picking reliable products. When we are taking all these products together as a system, their intercompatibility, and there is it becomes important factor as well when we talk about reliability of the entire system as well. So this is what I would say in the interest of time. Otherwise, I think we can go on and on these topics.
No, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for also, taking up one of the question that
yeah.
one of the audiences, I mean, has already asked. Particularly,
Okay.
I saw that. I mean, some people also
Oh yeah.
that question with the diesel generator, how to integrate the PV
Mm-hmm,
system.
mm.
I mean, I I I hear this question quite often, and so thank
Okay.
you for that, and also mentioning that the SM inverter can help and can address many of those problems.
Sure.
So I think now the audience have a better understanding of the
Sure.
thing. um, yes, now I'd like to, hand over to Miss Khan. She will get, take it further, take it forward, and during the Q&A session. But I think we already have quite a bit of interesting discussion from policy to implementation, and also some of the technical issues from the ground that we were able to discuss here, although it is a very short time, but we were able to discuss. And also, um, in fact, quality assurance, that is important. It is, many of the small projects struggled in the last 5 6 years. So we have also discussed that. And apart from that, very important, that grid modernization, grid stability, where the government needs to uh, uh, invest, either from the public side, I mean, public, either public money, or also from the development agency, or maybe through regulatory reform. So with this, I'd like to hand over to Ms. Khan, and yeah, and then to the audience, please stay with us for another 20, 15, 20, 30 minutes for the questions that you have already raised. So our panelists will address them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alam, for skillfully moderating such a meaningful and engaging discussion. And sincere thanks to all our panelists for your valuable insights and experiences. Before we proceed to the questions that have been posted by our audience, I would just like to screen a few more poll questions. So, once again, these will stay open till we close our webinar, and I would request the entire audience to please cast in their votes. We'll just keep this on screen for a few more seconds, but they will be available in the polls section. So, request the audience to kindly cast in their votes. So, moving ahead to the questions we have received from our audience, I'll be screening them here on screen. So, the first question that we have received is from Mr. Muntasib from Eleanor Solutions. We are facing a challenge in integrating rooftop PV in some CNI projects where prime source is gas generators and no grid available. I would request Ms. Priyamvada to take up this question.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yes, typically, most of the projects they have diesel generators. There are a few projects that worldwide we have done. I don't think we have done any project in Bangladesh as of now, according to my knowledge. Correct me if I wrong, Mr. Omar, if you have any information about it. But there are gas generators, and basically we need to make sure that there are two three things when we work with generator in the PV, with PV system, is what is the minimum load requirement for these generators, uh, obviously we want to avoid any kind of reverse power going to the generator. Also, we want to make sure there is enough reserve. So suddenly if the PV goes down, can these generators typically come up really fast and compensate for the low PV power. So depending upon what type of generators and how they are controlled, we can definitely work with that. Typically these gas generators will also have controllers, and how these controllers communicate are we have a controller called PV diesel. Earlier we used to call it as PV diesel hybrid controller. Now we just call it hybrid controller, because we also with this controller are able to have multiple sources. So we can have solar plus say gas generator or diesel generator plus batteries plus wind. So if we have multiple sources and we want to integrate all of them as a single energy management system, we can definitely do that. So typically for these kind of projects, so this hybrid controller is not a standard of the shelf product like any typical on-grid inverter. Here it would be customized according to your project requirements. So many a times a little more data is required, typically about your generators and the controllers that you are using, and also about your typically load pattern. So accordingly, we can suggest you what should be the right size for your PV plant, along with the how the diesel generator, sorry, PV diesel hybrid controller would be configured for your project. So there is a little more technical due diligence or a technical or engineering support that we would provide you know, for these kind of projects. But definitely we do have these solutions, and we have been offering this for some time now. I mean, there are worldwide, there are projects which have been running with this hybrid controller for more than 10 years successfully all over the world for all type of industries. So yes, we definitely can provide you solution with that.
Thank you so much for answering that, ma'am. Moving
Most
on to the
welcome.
next question. Do you have any plans to have BESS? I believe Mr. Tanmay
Yeah.
would be able to answer this.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So see, BESS is battery energy storage systems, right? So we are into a BESS system, I mean the segment, because we have our inverters where they are compatible with certain sets of batteries, and I think I explained in my presentation as well. We have those kind of inverters ready to be used in the all across the world, but we are not into, or we are not planning to get into the manufacturing of batteries, because I think we are from like as I mentioned, like for 40 years we are only focused on the solar inverter segment, and we will continue to do so. So we are not getting into battery energy storage solutions, but we are tied up, like we have a kind of a approved battery vendor list where we have tested those batteries with our inverters, and then only we make sure that these batteries are safe to be used with SMA. So Mr. Kabir, if you want, you can connect me with offline and we can have a discussion. If you have any kind of a requirement of battery energy storage systems, we can understand more further from you, and we can have we can guide you, we can provide you a technical solution, because battery energy storage solution is always a tailor-made solution. We try to understand what is the requirement, which batteries are required or are considered by a customer. Typically, just to take few names, the BYD batteries, test volts, Palantech. These are the batteries which are on our approved vendor list, which are kind of leading batteries, and we have tested these batteries with our inverters. So these are the safe to use with our inverters. So we'll be more than happy if you can write to us about this. We'll be more than happy to take it forward from that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for answering that, sir. Screening the next question. Um So, good afternoon. My question is to the team group representative. Have you considered energy storage system integration in your planned interventions to maximize your RE usage potential? So, I see Mr. Hussain, you've already posted some answers here. Would you like to elaborate on this or?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I think considering the present situation, energy storage system is feasible if we compare with the cost of energy generation in diesel. So, looking into my hierarchy of choice, as I said during my deliberation, is number one is solar, two is gas-based genset, three is national grid, fourth is diesel. So the point is when we go for diesel, so when there is a severe disruption of uh, national grid and gas pressure is very less and there is no sun, so then we go for diesel. So the point is, when we go for ESS, and it will add a depreciation value of 10 to 11 taka per kilowatt. So then if we compare it with solar, if we think of solar rechargeable battery, then the cost would be like 5 plus 10, 16 to 17 taka. For gas based generation, 9 plus 11, 20 taka. And if you go for compare with diesel, then if I go for like REB or national grid, then it is 11 plus 11, 22 taka, and diesel is like 33 taka. So it's all about pick and choice. So we will be waiting for more bankable project. We'll be looking for more price wise a more feasible option in terms of ESS, and definitely we will go for that. And another part is, rather than going for ESS, I think we will be more moving towards, because we have a global target of carbon emission reduction. As a company, we have signed to the Fashion Industry Charter for Climate Action. So we have a target to reduce our GHG emission by 42% by 2030. So we'll be looking for more option like CPPAs, whereby we can purchase bundle wise energy, green energy, renewable energy, whereby it will also come with RECs, I mean renewable energy certificates, and the renewable energy itself, and that has to be through the national grid. So this is what my strategies are in terms of decarbonization and looking into moving for more battery energy storage based system. I hope I have been able to answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your insights, Mr. Hussain. Moving on to the next question here. How's your experience with PVDG controller? Is it responds properly in your systems? I believe Miss Pramvada would be able to answer this.
Yes, sure, sure. So I have briefly answered this in the previous question itself. So yes, the response is very proper and smooth because we have delivered these systems all over the world in different parts of the world for different industries as well. So, considering, as I mentioned, this is not, when we talk about PVDG controller, it is not just about avoiding any backfeed going to the generator as such. This also has to take care about minimum spinning reserve that you would require. Also, reactive power management, because if most of your active power is taken over by PV, then the reactive power requirement would be fulfilled by only DG, and then your DGs would be operating at very bad power factor, and your efficiency of the diesel generators is going to be very bad. I mean, you'll be consuming a lot of fuel even at very low operating power. So all this needs to be taken into account, and the hybrid controllers that we have, they include the reactive power management. They include the management of spinning reserve for demand if you have multiple diesel gensets and everything. So apart from reverse power protection, all this is already included part of the offering that we have, and that's why typically we mention that. That it's not just like avoiding reverse pass. what you would typically do for zero export. We have seen some of the installers have used just the zero export, not in our case, but the zero export solution, which is they've tried to use for say generator based systems, and it doesn't work. Typically, one of the reason, the speed of or the response time is not fast enough when we talk about just zero export system. With DGPV controllers, you require very high response time, very fast response time. And that's why it becomes very important. All our inverters also, they operate on Modbus TCP. That helps us because the reaction time is much better compared to RS485 communication and everything, since the controlling happens through the same communication channel. So all this is well taken into account, and accordingly we deliver the solution. So yes, they respond properly. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Just in continuation with that, we have
Mhm.
another question here.
Okay.
Uh, is it necessary to integrate synchronous condenser?
Okay, this will depend upon your system size. We will have to evaluate project by project. Total, how many basically sources you have, what is the size of PV, what is the size of condenser, if you have grid connection, if you have additional sources, all that you need to take into account and accordingly understand how this integration is to be done or not.
Uh, one more while we have you here, one more question I believe is
Sure.
again catered to your expertise. So, gas generators are not capable of supporting ramp load, and I do believe you spoke about this as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, they just go on to say that in case of any sudden fluctuation in PV power due to cloud or various reasons, gas
Mm-hmm.
generators can only take slow increase in load,
Mm.
otherwise, they trip.
They trip. Yeah.
Yeah, so looking for
Uh,
any
s-
solution.
yeah. So typically, if you have this problem, we would have to include the battery system into it. So at least if the battery system won't be added to say supply to the load as such, but to support the ramp rate control that you would require in that case. Depending upon your project requirements, your business case, how much funding you have, it can be decided how much battery you can include in the project. But you can limit, if you don't have much funding available at the moment, you can limit it to just to a capacity where it supports this ramp rate. So till the time your gas generators are coming up to the speed, the battery would be able to support. And the PV diesel generator, the hybrid controllers that I'm talking about, they help you integrate all these sources together. So that is possible if you add additional source of energy, and not just the power, the source of energy like battery storage, that would be helpful.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Moving on to the last question that we have for the day. We get PF low problem, though we have PFC panel. At daytime, we get problem of PF when solar generates. How can we solve it?
Okay, so we can definitely, so if you already have the PV system obviously installed, if you have SMA generators, please do contact our service team. You will have to basically or you can write to us, or you can write to SolarHive, depending upon who you whose contact details you have. But this PF panel problem, even if you have a PFC panel, is coming because the after including solar, the PF panel you will have to reconfigure. If you haven't done that, this is going to affect your PF, because earlier your PFC panel was configured to the earlier system. Even though it says automatic if it is APFC panel. Still there is limitation. There is a window in which it can control. If your PV system is considerably big, in that case it might be going out of that window, and that is why it is not able to recover the power factor. So you can definitely get help from the solar generators, where they will supply with the reactive power whenever required, so that your PF at the grid interconnection point is maintained. But having said that, you have to always remember that whenever PV inverters they supply the reactive power, your active power is going to go down a bit, not in the same proportion, but in solar inverters are they are designed or they are rated for its apparent power. So they are rated for kVA rating, and if you are supplying the reactive power, your kilowatt for the inverter is going to go down a bit. So if you are say EPC or developer, or you have given a generation guarantee, then in that case, if this is being enabled in the solar inverter, you'll have to also understand that this might affect the generation if your generation guarantee is based on only kilowatt rating and not in the kVA rating. So even for the end clients and for the service providers, both needs to be aligned on this if we are enabling the reactive power support from the inverter. From the inverter side, there is no additional cost to it. But if your business case is defined like this, are there if there are any these kind of limitations or these kind of obligations that you have, then this needs to be talked with the end client before this is being enabled. So this is very important part.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Just now we have received one last question. I believe you've really struck a chord here. So,
Not a problem.
APFC not full compensated, but main panel shows 0.75 or low PF at generation time.
Yes, so that is what I'm saying. Probably if you don't have APFC panel, it will go further down. So APFC panel is doing some of the work, but it's not enough. So you can have both APFC panel in the system and PV, but also with APFC panel, it is also important to understand where you have connected your PV in the system. Your PV should be on the load side, and after that, your APFC panel should correct the power factor. If your APFC panel is not or rather, sorry, I said the other way around. The APFC panel should be near the load side and then the PV. So if you have already existing system, please feel free to contact us, send us your rough SLD of the plant, and we'll help you solve this problem. But as I mentioned, this is a typical what it's seen on the site, and this is very much we can solve it.
Thank you, ma'am. Again,
Welcome.
one more question. Just, I believe this is the last now.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, So this has been just now posted. We do net export to utility, so we don't need zero export, but at the time of utility outage, we start DG. Is there any configuration SMA have to balance DG, utility, and solar commonly?
So typically what happens is in such cases, we take a feedback from the grid. So whenever grid is available, it will export whatever higher generation you have, it is exported to the grid. When grid goes off, then hybrid controller takes over, and then it gives command to the solar for how much is the generation. As long as grid is there, it will not give any power limitation commands to the inverter to limit the solar generation. But as soon as it senses that grid is off and only diesel generators are running, in that case, then it will actively monitor the diesel generator generation, the load, and accordingly will give commands to PV to ensure the smooth operation. So this configuration is possible with the hybrid controller.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And that marks
Most
the
welcome.
end of all the questions that we have received.
Most welcome.
And as we come to the close of today's session, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thanks to each one of you for your participation and curiosity. A special thank you to our esteemed speakers for sharing your knowledge so generously, and to SMA Solar Technology for your continued support in making this session possible. We hope today's discussion sparked new ideas, opened doors for collaboration, and inspired deeper conversations around renewable energy and sustainability in Bangladesh. We'll be back soon with more insightful sessions and engaging dialogues. Until then, stay sustainable, stay inspired. Thank you and have a wonderful evening. The floor is now open for networking. Feel free to connect, interact, and continue the conversation. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.